You know, I'll come in, I'll be like, hi, house, whatever. Hope y'all didn't have nobody in here while I was away.
Who is y'all, though?
The furniture, the dishes.
She come in
So
here.
no, who are you talking to? Hey, guys. Okay, so.
Why she start getting smiling, all excited when she started? Now.
It's for Tawana, but it's for me.
Now.
We talk about the Lord. Operation.
Listen, you can't put the Lord to the side.
Oh my gosh, you're right, 100%.
Don't be
100%.
Ain't no separation.
There isn't. There's not. I'm just known as seeing like facial expressions. That's all I'm noticing.
I smile a whole lot.
A lot more now.
So, I know for me that COVID has magnified my singleness. And it has magnified it.
The burden.
In a way, like it. So, COVID and singleness. How are you coping?
Coping.
How are you dealing?
Do we need to cope? Like, is that where we start?
I'm just saying, like
I need a coping mechanism.
Deep breathing. What steps are you taking to remain, in right standing with the Lord?
Go ahead.
Wait, first of all, are we all single? Can we just?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
I am. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I am.
You seem like you had a situation or something.
But you
A
said
situationship? Are we in situationship?
you didn't verbalize.
No situationships.
Are we in situationships?
I'm not at all.
Okay.
Single.
Okay.
Look.
Is it
You
yes?
seem like you
Yes or
going
no?
through something over
Okay.
there.
What did he say for
He
you to say
seemed like
that?
he was like,
Right,
he was trying to swap out. Like, hey, tap. He was like, tap me out, bro. I was like, hold on, we gonna start with you.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, swap me out.
Yeah, like so. Oh, you know what you
I'm
want.
saying Phil been here like I want to get him in his segment. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yes or no? Are you
Conveniently.
I'm single.
single? Okay, so we're all single.
Single, yes.
Right?
You know people will see this.
Yes.
I'm 100%
Right.
No, y'all not gonna do my man like that. No. Cause y'all took it too far. Y'all took it too far. He's a faithful man of God. He's a faithful man of God. Y'all took it too far.
Real late. He like, hold on.
And then all of a sudden,
Minister with the deacon real quick.
Y'all took it too far. Y'all can't go. The boundary was there. Y'all went like, no. Okay?
Love the passion.
My man is
Love
faithful.
the passion.
Yo.
All right, that's see, your man is rocking with you.
And I appreciate that.
So like you said, yes,
Yes.
COVID has magnified singleness. And I live alone. So I have a dog, which is I've been so grateful for because there's another soul in the house. But living alone and very, very single, like phone dry, it's hard out here. But I've been on dating apps for a while. So I was, conversing here and there with people. But overall, I'm just glad I have a dog and I have community. So like I stayed very active virtually when it came to like community, like small group every week. My family, we started doing this like Zoom meet every week. I would do culture, socials. So I made sure I was like face to face with some person before I drove myself crazy. Because, my dog, she's great, but she can't talk back to me. Well, she does like bark at me a lot, but like she can't have a conversation with me, And so, singleness, I'm content in the overall, but I wouldn't mind if the Lord dropped someone. Like,
So what dating app, what username?
What?
That's what we're doing? No, we can't do that.
What dating app?
You're saying that you have to
username?
put yours too, though. You can't, like, if you
Because I don't wanna-
you can't do that.
Danny
You're allowed.
underscore what is it? Underscore.
I'm not telling no username.
So
Where can you be found with your handles?
You trying to open up the rivers.
I feel
your
like
DMs
that's
gonna be
actually
200.
a whole separate conversations, like dating sites and
Okay,
Christian.
so
Like
I'll
it's,
leave it at that. I
Woo!
am very single, phone
Okay.
dry. I won't dating apps.
Her phone's dry, fellas. Get them digits.
And I'm open to dating if that is
She's
the
open
Lord's
to
will.
dating.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
You better lie. Somebody throw it.
Listen, I'm looking out for my girl. You looking
Do
out
it.
for
Do
your
it.
dude.
I respect
oh
it.
gosh,
Got to.
man, I live alone as well. I don't have any pets. And so, I usually just have a conversation with my apartment
With your partner.
Yeah, no, seriously. no, seriously. Like, I come in the house, like, if I've been at work since June. Like, we've been back in the building since June.
Okay.
So, like, I'll come in, I'll be like, hi, guys. So, like, hi, house.
Stop.
Hope y'all didn't have no. Like, that's it. And I'm like, I hope y'all didn't have anybody in here when I was away.
That's real.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's kind of scary.
That is
It's
scary.
not scary.
That is scary. That is
That's different.
scary.
That's different. Like, that's a moving.
No, it's like.
She come in
So
here.
here's the no.
Who are you talking to?
Hey guys! Now here's the thing: if something should answer back, then that's scary.
What you gonna do? You
But
gonna run?
I will smooth Jackie Joyner Kersey my way out the. But what I'm saying is, I don't have I go in like hi house. Whatever. Hope y'all didn't have nobody in here while I was away.
Who is y'all though?
The furniture, the dishes.
The things in
What?
there.
Yeah.
Got it.
But then after that, it's like
Man, this is great. Man.
I cut conversation. I go on about my business.
Okay.
But
Y'all, okay. And then so
I'm not a cook. So
okay,
I got that.
they jumped to that. Okay, so what else?
But it has been difficult.
Okay.
It has been difficult because it's like,
Oh my
oh
God.
man, like, before I could go hang out with my friends or before
Right.
I could go whatever. But it's like now it's like, really can't go anywhere. So what do I do? It's kind of like I try to stay in constant contact with my family, my sister, my brothers. My brother just had a new baby last
Praise God. That's
Sunday.
good.
Thank God for healthy delivery and all that. So it's like I FaceTime a lot with them.
Yeah.
But I can say that I'm like, there were times I'm just like, dang, Lord, like, it'd be cool to have a husband, to like,
be quarantined.
or be quarantined with, quarantine babe, or
Not even
quarantine
like a
husband
boyfriend,
babe.
or just like a husband. Like we went
Right. Yeah.
So,
He did.
Right.
because if anything, if he's staying with me, he's gonna be my husband.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, and
That's true. That's true.
but you know what I mean? I'm like, I want a husband.
I'm not mad at him. That's a lot of steps. I'm saying.
Right.
Like,
Oh, I just.
There's a way to
I
get
can
there.
understand that. I
He's
understand
like, you
that.
gotta work with
Right.
the Lord.
I mean,
Right,
but
like-
you will consider that a lot of steps because you
The
want to
Lord-
switch out with.
Chill,
But
chill.
We need to help the people. We need to help the people who are listening to this conversation. We need to help the people. How do we? Like,
Right.
yeah, so just
Me and Gabby both.
being in close connection with family, connect groups from the church that I attend. So that's been really cool.
Yeah.
And just trying to keep my mind on positive things and good things and yeah. So
Like a wall in your
how have you been? How have you been coping?
I've been good.
That's good.
That's good.
Man of God, what is going on?
No, fine.
I'm real suspicious of what is
being-
going
Yeah,
on.
situationship.
No, I'm being actual.
Okay.
No, I feel like I said earlier, it has been rough just being. I don't like being cooped up, right? I like to engage, I like to be out and about, engage, talk to people. I'm a little extroverted, so it's like not being able to do that has been quite a bit challenging for me.
Yeah.
I try to find ways to like occupy my time, like you said, getting back into my hobbies. I've been doing that a lot more. I have not been talking to my house as much.
I'm gonna regret saying
I'm
that.
messing with you. No, but like, I don't know. I feel like dating and whatever that means for whatever person. I think it has been interesting in this space, right? It's like, well, I'll leave it at that. I'll let y'all
No, we're here to
Like
talk.
you to elaborate.
expound on which part.
You said it's been interesting.
Interesting, right?
It's like I was telling someone about this a little while ago. Kind of like I'm not really into like I've never done the online dating stuff before, right?
Right.
And I'm always curious, like what, like how does that work? Like the whole notion, like if I'm gonna be talking to someone, like flirting or trying to like gauge chemistry, or like how do you do that on a laptop or a phone? It just feels odd to me. And I'm like, I can't like bring myself. I'm not gonna say like that, but the idea of like doing that has always been a little like weird for me. Like trying to cultivate relationship in a purely digital platform when there's no in-person, face-to-face anything.
Yeah.
it just feels kind of foreign to me. So I have not gone on that path.
So here's a pointed question, because this is what they really want to know.
Uh-oh.
Just to help you, right? So the question is, have you been on a date during COVID? How did you go about doing it, and how did you feel comfortable to do that during this time?
That's very good.
How did you gauge that? How did you discern whether this person is worth me risking my health potentially to do that?
That's an interesting question.
That's a good
You're
question.
trying to figure out if you're a friend or a foe.
No. I'm with him. I just know, like, y'all not. Like, I can tell, I can see, I can feel, I can sense it. Y'all not satisfied with his answer. Like, it wasn't him.
All right, so I will say, this is so interesting right now. I will say it's like so there was someone I was seeing.
Right, there you go.
Prior to quarantine happening.
Let's
Right.
get to it. Okay.
Let's not.
Now we getting so.
But so I think in that regard, a lot of that mental angst didn't quite exist in the same way. Right?
Yeah.
Because if someone like
Someone you know.
Yeah, someone I know. I shared space with prior to that, so it wasn't like, oh my God, where have you been? What did you contract?
Right.
It wasn't any of that stuff, right?
Right.
So I feel like in that regard, it didn't kind of hit me the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wasn't like out seeing other people. I was
Right.
very kind of like Heisman, like I didn't want to get none myself. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I think from that standpoint, it didn't have a lot of the same emotional, I guess, weight.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
That
What
makes
about you,
sense.
Rhino?
I knew.
Yeah,
I knew. I felt it coming. I was like, she's about to come this way. So, no, it's cool. I haven't been on a date in COVID. In thinking about pursuing someone, which is a little bit down the road, but I'm just like, the most practical thing would probably be to do what I've been thinking about doing is something that's outside, something that's safe, something that's mutual place, right? So that you guys both feel comfortable and somewhere out in nature, so not destitute, isolated space, right? But something chill, I know, for example, me and my boys hung out at the monuments, for example, right? And it's not that many people out there, right? So you could do something like that, right? Where there's a will, there's a way. Let's be very clear, right? My mom said that all the time. And if you want to be intentional, you'll be intentional. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, just being wise, because I don't think you go straight to, okay, I want to come over to your place because that's the only safe space. When that's not the case, right? I think being outside and being distant is the way to go. And that's where I would start. I wouldn't share a meal immediately because you don't know this person and
sharing forks.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Nah.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that immediately, you know what I'm saying? Because, you may never see that person again, which is okay, right? And yeah. So I think it's a lot more simple than we try to make it,
Yeah. I was a question for y'all, Well, so what does it look like? So y'all sing and keep me honest, right? But I want a man dropped in, right? During my pandemic. So what is that? What would that look like for y'all, right? Maybe the dudes who are maybe trying to shoot some of their shots, what would that look like for y'all in this pandemic quarantine space? If we accept that we're not gonna have a husband dropped in, it's gonna be a acquaintance, stranger, that might become something more. What would it even look like for y'all to navigate that space while in the quarantine?
So you're saying, how does a guy shoot a shot right now, or how does the whole process happen?
Maybe all of the above.
Well, like he was saying, outside. I actually went on, and I'm not recommending anyone do this. It was not a good idea on my part, but here I am still living. But I went on a hike with a guy that I met from Hinge. That was our first date, which was very not smart on my end because
Why?
I could be ending up in the woods somewhere. You never know. He was
Okay, that makes sense.
But
That's a safety thing.
Right?
it was a
That's
great.
exciting, though.
it
Was there a lot of people around, or it was more
there was
isolated?
It was maybe 10 people here. It was probably 10 people we saw all together, but you see
Oh
them
wow!
all
So
on
it
hike.
was I got it. Okay.
It was a really intense hike too. I was rope climbing at one point out of a trench. I was like, what kind of
Oh,
turkey
wow.
one part? It was great. I would do it again.
I don't
Not
climb.
with the first Hinge date.
Right.
But so stuff like that. It was a great time because we literally were talking the whole time because we were hiking. So
Right.
we got to know each other pretty well during the hike. So stuff like that, outside stuff, not necessarily Netflix and chill, none of that, because that can lead to things you don't need to lead to. So nothing indoors or in each other's house, unless you have a roommate and accountability or whatever you're into or whatever. But definitely outside stuff is a good.
Yeah, I got a lot of guys are reaching out through social media and the DMs.
So your DMs are wet.
I don't know why I had to tell you this.
Rivers.
You don't gotta tell me nothing. I'm just here.
Let me see your DMs.
Yeah, ain't nobody in my DMs. I don't even be on social media like that. I'm
excuse me.
Chilling.
But yeah, social media, and apps. I feel like the internet and social sites are big right now.
Mm-hmm. In your life.
I think across the board for anyone who's open to dating. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think even just something like a virtual date, FaceTime date.
Yeah.
Like saying, let's cook a meal together. While.
What you gotta say to that?
I think it's cool.
You know what I mean? Like it's safe,
really nice.
I'm not saying it's not. I mean, you're right. Let me keep my.
No, we're here to talk.
No, I wasn't. I'm like reacting in real time. I'm just like I'm processing.
Okay.
FaceTime
out loud.
It's very out loud, very externally and very out loud. Like I'm thinking a FaceTime date. Like I'm just imagining like.
It is.
But I mean, it's very different. It's very different. But if you're thinking about like the times that we're in, people still want to date, even more so now because you can't physically go and be, around people. So it heightens that level of being alone, lonely, and wanting to have that connection. So, having a FaceTime date or virtual date is really cool. Like, Culture has some bomb virtual socials.
Yes, they do.
That were so fun. Like, it was so cool just meeting people like I probably would have never met if we were like at an actual Culture event in physical person, because so many people come to the events. Mm-hmm. You couldn't miss certain people. So, like, I think that's just the wave right now. Everything's virtual. So, all right, guys, that was a great conversation. Thank you all so much. Guys, make sure that you tune back in when we come back for our part 2 of Friends with Conversations, and we'll see y'all soon.